A pro-Palestinian group has successfully breached one of the most secure military installations in the United Kingdom, RAF Brize Norton. According to preliminary reports, they are believed to have caused damage to at least 2 military aircraft. The organization behind the incursion is Palestine Action. Far from concealing their involvement, they are openly claiming responsibility. They have publicly stated that they managed to disable British military aircraft and left the scene without being intercepted. This raises critical questions. How was such a breach possible at a site that plays a key role in national defense? What does this say about the current state of UK security, the growing public anger over the war in Gaza, and Britain's increasingly active role in that conflict? Let's break down what happened. But first, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Brize Norton is the largest Royal Air Force base in the UK and functions as a vital strategic hub. Flights regularly depart from there to RAF Akrotiri in Cyprus, a location of great importance to British military operations across the Middle East. According to Palestine Action, 2 of its members entered the facility using electric scooters and, once inside, sprayed red paint into the engines of 2 aircraft as a symbolic act. They also planted a Palestinian flag at the scene. No arrests were made. No leads have been reported that might help locate the perpetrators. The group claims its members escaped undetected, a fact that is shocking in itself. A high-security base infiltrated by activists armed only with paint, and they simply walked away. Palestine Action has made headlines before for their direct interventions at sites linked to the arms industry, particularly those they allege are involved in supplying weapons to the State of Israel. Their approach is confrontational, disruptive, and increasingly bold. In a recent statement, the organization declared that, despite official condemnation of the Israeli government, the UK continues to send military supplies, deploy surveillance aircraft over Gaza, and provide logistical support to US and Israeli fighter jets. They accuse the UK not just of complicity, but of being an active participant in what they describe as genocide in Gaza. From their perspective, the attack on the aircraft was not merely an act of vandalism, but a deliberate political action aimed at sabotaging what they see as Britain's role in war crimes. This episode comes at an especially tense moment in the region. In recent days, the conflict between Israel and Iran has escalated dramatically, and the Israeli Defense Forces have described Gaza as a secondary front in a broader regional war. Iran is now regarded as the primary adversary in this widening conflict. Meanwhile, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza has reached catastrophic levels. Over 55,000 people are reported to have died, and nearly 2 million have been displaced, according to Gaza's Ministry of Health. All of this follows the 7th of October attacks, during which Hamas militants killed 1,200 people and took around 250 hostages, with at least 50 believed to remain in captivity. The violence has not remained confined to the Middle East. Its effects are being felt in Britain too. Pro-Palestinian demonstrations have surged across the country, particularly in London, where a major march is scheduled again for this weekend. Earlier this year, police arrested 77 people during another mass protest in the capital, highlighting the level of tension now present throughout the UK. The break-in at RAF Brize Norton raises deep concerns. How could a pair of activists infiltrate a high-security military installation, sabotage aircraft, plant political symbols, and vanish without a trace? Regardless of whether one agrees with their methods, Palestine Action's actions reflect growing frustration among segments of society who believe the UK is actively enabling Israel's military operations, despite public statements to the contrary. So far, the government has remained largely silent, but the longer that silence lasts, the greater the pressure will become, not only from a security standpoint but also politically. The key question is whether this was an isolated event or the beginning of a new wave of direct action. When a group is able to infiltrate an RAF base, damage military equipment, and leave unchallenged, we are no longer talking about symbolic protest. This is a moment where political outrage is translating into concrete acts, and where the line between activism and sabotage is becoming increasingly blurred. Whether the authorities acknowledge it or not, the UK's role in the Middle East is now at the centre of national debate. In other news, Reform UK has issued a stark warning. A political reckoning is on the horizon as the UK's immigration system continues to collapse. This follows the release of a damning report exposing serious failings by French police along the Channel coast. Footage captured on Wednesday in the town of Gravelines, northern France, shows an elderly man on crutches struggling towards a small boat while numerous French officers stood by and watched without intervening. The report also documented armed border guards deploying tear gas and pursuing asylum seekers into the water. However, due to regulations that are soon to be scrapped, officers are currently prohibited from detaining migrants once they enter the sea. In fact, once they step into the channel, even just a few meters, authorities refrain from touching them or stopping their dinghies for fear of causing harm. Meanwhile, police sources have told the Daily Mail that the sheer number of migrants and the vast stretch of France's northern coastline make it impossible to control them all. Richard Tice, deputy leader of Reform UK, expressed his outrage at the footage, describing the situation as a disgraceful ongoing invasion. He warned that a political tipping point is approaching and reaffirmed that only Reform UK is committed to stopping the boats entirely. Elsewhere, Conservative MP Michael Gove has confirmed that as far back as 2011, senior government officials attempted to suppress evidence of child sexual exploitation networks known as grooming gangs. His comments support claims made by former advisor Dominic Cummings, who revealed that warnings from the Department for Education were ignored and that consideration was given to blocking the publication of investigative reports on the Rotherham abuse scandal. Speaking in an interview with GB News, Gove stated that Cummings' account was broadly absolutely correct. He recalled that journalist Andrew Norfolk, who was instrumental in exposing the scandal and who sadly passed away recently, had been investigating a particularly sensitive case in Rotherham at the time. Gove revealed that the local council sought to prevent certain details from being made public, going so far as to ask the central government and the Department for Education, which Gove headed at the time, to join a legal action aimed at stopping the Times from publishing the story. What are your thoughts on everything we've covered? Feel free to share your views in the comments section. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content on British current affairs. See you in the next video.